The vast chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with excited chatter. Hundreds of alien species, each more strange than the last, filled the room. They came from all corners of the galaxy, some with tentacles, others with multiple eyes, and a few that were just clouds of gas. Today was a big day. They were about to welcome a new planet into their group, Earth. At the front of the room, a tall blue alien named Zork stood up. He had 3 arms and a head shaped like a star. Zork raised all his arms for quiet. The room fell silent. "Fellow council members," Zork said, his voice deep and slow. "Today we add Earth to our great alliance. They are young and new to space travel, but we see great promise in them." Just then, the big doors at the back of the room burst open. A small pink creature ran in, waving its arms wildly. It was a human. "Stop," the human shouted. "Earth will not join you." The room erupted in shocked gasps and angry yells. Zork's star-shaped head turned bright red with anger. "What is the meaning of this?" he bellowed. The human, a woman named Sarah, stood tall despite being the smallest being in the room. "We have learned the truth," she said. "Your welcome is just a trick. You want to take over Earth and use our resources." Zork's 3 eyes blinked rapidly. "Nonsense," he said, but his voice shook a little. Sarah pulled out a small device and pressed a button. Suddenly, the air was filled with holograms. They showed secret plans and messages between council members. Plans to strip Earth of its metals, to use humans as cheap labor, to turn the planet into a giant fuel station for alien ships. The council members looked at each other in shock and fear. Their secret was out. "Earth will not surrender," Sarah declared. "We are ready to fight." As if on cue, the sky outside the council building lit up. Hundreds of Earth ships appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. They had been hiding, cloaked by new technology the aliens didn't know humans had. Zork stumbled back, his blue skin turning pale. How is this possible?" he stammered. Sarah smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. "We've been preparing," she said. "We knew we couldn't trust you, so we got ready. Earth has been building up its defenses in secret for years." The alien council members were in a panic now. Some tried to run, others tried to call their own ships, but Earth's fleet had them surrounded. "Here are our terms," Sarah announced, her voice strong and clear. "You will leave Earth alone. You will pay for the damages you've caused with your secret mining operations, and you will recognize Earth as a free and equal member of the galactic community." Zork, still in shock, could only nod. Sarah wasn't done. "If you refuse, or if you ever try to trick us again, you'll see just how fierce humans can be when we're protecting our home." As Sarah's words echoed through the chamber, the Earth ships outside fired up their engines. The sound was like a mighty roar, a warning to the entire galaxy. The message was clear. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were not to be underestimated. The age of alien trickery was over. A new era had begun, one where Earth would stand tall among the stars. The Galactic Council had wanted to conquer Earth. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, and now they would face the consequences of their actions. Earth's retaliation had only just begun. The news of Earth's bold stand against the Galactic Council spread like wildfire across the stars. Aliens everywhere watched their screens in shock as human ships circled the Council's grand meeting place. The tiny blue planet that many had ignored was now the center of attention. Back on Earth, people cheered in the streets. They waved flags and sang songs about their unexpected victory. But in a secret room deep under the ground, Earth's leaders knew the real fight was just beginning. General Maria Chen, a tough woman with sharp eyes, looked at the others around the table. "We've surprised them," she said, "but now they'll hit back hard." President Okoye nodded. "We need to be ready," he said. His voice was calm, but worry lines crossed his face. Just then, a young scientist burst into the room. "We've got a problem," he shouted, waving a tablet. Our space sensors are picking up something big. Really big. On the tablet screen, they saw a massive ship appear near Mars. It was shaped like a giant hammer and was bigger than anything humans had ever built. More ships popped up behind it, forming a fleet that could easily crush Earth's defenses. "It's the Zorgan Empire," General Chen said, her face pale. The council called for help. The Zorgans were known as the meanest, toughest aliens in the galaxy. They loved to fight and had weapons that could destroy entire planets. President Okoye stood up. "Send a message to all Earth ships," he ordered. "Tell them to come home. We need to protect our planet." As Earth's ships raced back, the Zorgan fleet moved closer. They sent a message that boomed from every radio and TV on Earth. "Puny humans, you dare to challenge the Galactic Council? Surrender now, or we will turn your world to dust." People panicked. Some wanted to give up. Others wanted to fight. Earth's leaders argued about what to do. But in a small lab in Tokyo, a group of scientists had been working on a secret weapon. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a small woman with big glasses, called the president. "We have something that might save us," she said. "But it's never been tested. It might not work." "What is it?" the president asked. Dr. Tanaka explained. "We call it the harmony wave. It doesn't destroy. Instead, it makes anyone hit by it feel peaceful and friendly. But we've only used it on rats in our lab." It was a crazy idea. But with the Zorgan fleet getting closer every minute, they were out of options. "Do it," the president said. The scientists rushed to hook up their device to Earth's biggest radio telescope. As the Zorgan ships entered Earth's orbit, ready to attack, Dr. Tanaka pressed the button. A wave of invisible energy shot out from Earth. It washed over the Zorgan ships. For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the Zorgan weapons powered down. The scary alien voice came back on the radio. But this time, it sounded happy. "Hello, Earth friends," the Zorgan leader said. "We're so sorry about earlier. Would you like to have a picnic? We make great space sandwiches." Humans everywhere stared at each other in disbelief. Had it worked? Had they just turned the galaxy's biggest bullies into their new best friends? As the Zorgan ships started drawing smiley faces in Earth's sky with their engines, President Okoye laughed for the first time in days. "Well," he said, "I guess we should prepare a welcome party. And maybe ask them to have a friendly chat with the Galactic Council too." Earth had won again, not with big guns, but with a big idea. The age of peace was just beginning, and it started with a wave of harmony from a little blue planet that refused to give up. The Galactic Council was in chaos. News of Earth's harmony wave and its effect on the fierce Zorgan Empire had spread faster than light across the galaxy. Alien leaders from 1,000 worlds argued and shouted, their voices a mix of fear, anger, and confusion. Zork, the blue, three-armed alien who had tried to trick Earth, stood in the middle of the storm. His star-shaped head spun as he tried to make sense of it all. "Order!" he yelled, but no one listened. Suddenly, the big screens in the council chamber lit up. It was a live feed from Earth. President Okoye's face filled the screens, calm and serious. "Greetings, Galactic Council," he said. The room fell silent. "We invite you all to Earth for peace talks. And yes, the Zorgans will be there too. They're quite excited about hosting a galactic potluck." The alien leaders looked at each other, unsure what to do. Earth, a planet they had tried to conquer, was now inviting them over. And the Zorgans, known for eating their enemies, wanted to cook for everyone. Back on Earth, preparations were in full swing. The harmony wave had worked better than anyone had hoped. The Zorgans, once the bullies of the galaxy, were now Earth's biggest fans. They hovered their giant ships over Earth's cities, using them as stages for intergalactic rock concerts. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the inventor of the harmony wave, was busy in her lab. "We need to be careful," she told President Okoye. "The wave's effects won't last forever. We need a permanent solution." The president nodded. That's why these peace talks are so important. We have a chance to change the galaxy forever. As alien ships from across the galaxy began to arrive, humans watched in awe. There were ships shaped like giant seahorses, others that looked like floating cities, and some that were just swirling clouds of light. In New York's Central Park, a huge welcome area had been set up. Aliens of all shapes and sizes mingled with humans, trying Earth foods and sharing their own strange dishes. A group of Zorgans had set up a barbecue, grilling what they swore were just space vegetables on a fire breathed by a friendly dragon-like creature from the Andromeda galaxy. Sarah, the brave human who had first confronted the council, walked through the crowd. She couldn't help but smile at the sight of a small green alien child sharing an ice cream cone with a human kid. But not everyone was happy. In a dark corner of the park, a group of aliens who had profited from the old, corrupt council whispered angrily. "We must stop this," one hissed. "If peace spreads, we'll lose everything." As the time for the peace talks drew near, President Okoye and his team gathered in a high-tech conference room. Screens showed views from all over the world, where aliens and humans were beginning to form friendships. "This is our chance," the president said. "We can create a new galactic alliance, one based on friendship and fair trade, not conquest and greed." Dr. Tanaka spoke up. "I've been working on a new version of the Harmony Wave. If we can install it in a network of satellites, we could protect Earth and promote peace across the galaxy." Just then, an alarm blared. General Chen burst into the room, her face grim. "We've got a problem," she said. "Our sensors have detected a group of ships hiding behind the moon. They're powering up weapons." The room erupted in activity. Had they come so far, only to face another threat? As they rushed to respond, a message crackled over the speakers. It was Zork. "Humans," he said, his voice shaking. I want to help. I know who's behind this attack. Let me make things right." President Okoye looked at his team. Should they trust the alien who had once tried to conquer them? With time running out and the fate of Earth and the entire galaxy hanging in the balance, they had to make a decision. Fast. President Okoye's eyes narrowed as he stared at the screen showing Zork's nervous face. The alien who had once tried to trick Earth now claimed he wanted to help. Could they trust him? "Speak quickly, Zork," Okoye said. "We don't have much time." Zork's star-shaped head pulsed with a mix of colors. "The ships behind the moon belong to the Shadow Consortium," he explained. "They're a group of corrupt business aliens who profited from the old council's schemes. They want to stop the peace talks at any cost." General Chen frowned. "How do you know this?" "Because I was once part of them," Zork admitted, his voice full of shame. "But your Harmony Wave made me see how wrong we were. Please, let me help make things right." As the humans debated what to do, Dr. Tanaka burst into the room. "I've got it," she shouted, waving a small device, "a portable Harmony Wave generator. We can use it on the Shadow Consortium's ships." Okoye nodded. "But how do we get close enough?" That's when Sarah, the brave human who had first confronted the council, stepped forward. "I have an idea," she said, "but it's pretty crazy." Minutes later, a strange ship took off from Earth. It looked like it was made from parts of a human shuttle, a Zorgan warship, and several alien crafts. Inside, an unlikely crew prepared for battle. Sarah sat at the controls with Zork beside her. Dr. Tanaka worked on the Harmony Wave device, while a team of human soldiers and friendly aliens from various worlds manned the weapons. As they approached the moon, the Shadow Consortium ships came into view. They were dark and sleek, bristling with weapons. "Now, Zork," Sarah said. Zork opened a communication channel. "Shadow Consortium," he called out. "This is Zork. I've captured humans and their alien allies. Let me dock so we can plan our attack together." For a tense moment, nothing happened. Then, the largest shadow ship opened its docking bay. As soon as they were inside, chaos erupted. Human soldiers and alien allies poured out of the ship, taking the Shadow Consortium by surprise. In the confusion, Dr. Tanaka activated the Harmony Wave device. A pulse of energy swept through the ship. The fighting stopped as suddenly as it had begun. Shadow Consortium members blinked in confusion, then began to smile. What were we doing? One of them asked. This violence is pointless. Back on Earth, aliens and humans alike watched the sky nervously. The peace talks were on hold as everyone waited to see what would happen. Suddenly, the ships behind the moon appeared, but instead of attacking, they flew in a beautiful formation, spelling out words in the sky. Sorry, let's be fry. A cheer went up from the crowds on Earth. The Shadow Consortium, once bent on destroying the peace, now wanted to join it. As Sarah's ship landed back on Earth, she was greeted as a hero. Zork stood beside her, no longer an enemy, but a true ally. President Okoi addressed the gathered aliens and humans. Today, we've seen that change is possible, he said. Even those we once thought of as enemies can become friends. This is the start of a new era for our galaxy. Dr. Tanaka stepped forward. And to ensure lasting peace, I propose we create a galactic harmony network. A system of satellites that can spread the harmony wave throughout the galaxy, but only when needed and always with the agreement of all worlds. The crowd cheered. Aliens and humans hugged, shook hands, or tentacles, and began excitedly planning for the future. As the sun set on this historic day, Earth had not only secured its place in the galaxy, but had also paved the way for a new age of peace and cooperation. The stars, once a source of fear, now promised endless possibilities and new friendships. And it all started because a small blue planet decided to stand up for itself, armed with bravery, cleverness, and a wave of harmony that changed the galaxy forever. 6 months had passed since the historic peace talks on Earth. The Galactic Harmony Network was up and running, spreading peace across the stars. But not everything was perfect in this new era of intergalactic friendship. On a small rocky planet called Zorban, trouble was brewing. A group of aliens unhappy with the new peaceful galaxy had gathered in secret. They called themselves the Chaos Bringers. We must destroy the Harmony Network, growled Gruck, their leader. He was a big, scaly creature with 6 eyes and sharp claws. Peace is making everyone soft and boring. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Sarah was enjoying her new job as Earth's ambassador to the galaxy. She was in her office, talking to Zork on a video call. The Galactic Council meeting is next week, Zork said, his star-shaped head glowing with excitement. Earth will officially become a full member. Suddenly, alarms started blaring. General Chen burst into the room, her face pale. We've got a big problem, she said. Someone's attacking the Harmony Network satellites. Across the galaxy, the effects were immediate. On a planet where 2 alien species were signing a peace treaty, they suddenly started arguing again. On another world, a friendly sports match between humans and blob-like aliens turned into a messy fight. President Okoi called an emergency meeting. Sarah, Zork, Dr. Tanaka, and General Chen gathered in the war room. Our sensors show the attacks are coming from Zorban, General Chen reported, but we don't know who's behind it. Dr. Tanaka spoke up. I can boost the remaining satellites to cover for the damaged ones, she said, but it's only a temporary fix. We need to stop these attacks at the source. President Okoi nodded. We need a team to go to Zorban and find out what's happening, he said. Any volunteers? Sarah stood up. I'll go, she said. I know the risks, but I've dealt with alien troubles before. Zork raised all 3 of his arms. I'll go too, he said. Zorban is near my home world. I know the area. As they prepared for their mission, Dr. Tanaka approached Sarah with a small device. This is a new invention, she explained. It's a personal harmony wave emitter. Use it carefully. The next day, Sarah and Zork boarded a sleek spacecraft. As they took off, crowds of humans and aliens cheered them on. The fate of galactic peace was in their hands. The journey to Zorban was tense. Sarah and Zork planned their approach. "We should try to talk to them first," Sarah said. "Violence should be our last resort." When they landed on Zorban, they found a world in chaos. The effects of the weakened Harmony network were clear. Aliens were fighting in the streets, and smoke rose from damaged buildings. Sarah and Zork made their way to the planet's central city. There, they found the headquarters of the Chaos Bringers. Gruk stood on a balcony, shouting to a crowd. "See how exciting life is with a little chaos," he yelled. The crowd cheered, but Sarah noticed some aliens looking unsure. Sarah stepped forward. "People of Zorban," she called out, "is this really what you want? A life of constant fighting and fear?" Gruk snarled. "Get them," he ordered his followers. As angry aliens rushed towards them, Zork looked at Sarah. "Now?" he asked. Sarah nodded and pressed the button on Dr. Tanaka's device. A wave of harmony spread through the crowd. The charging aliens slowed down, looking confused. "Listen to me," Sarah said. "Peace doesn't mean boring. It means safety to explore, to learn, to grow, to make friends across the galaxy." Her words, combined with the harmony wave, began to change minds. Aliens in the crowd started nodding, then cheering for peace. Gruk, immune to the wave thanks to a personal shield, roared in anger. He leaped down, charging at Sarah with his claws out. But he never reached her. Zork stepped in, using all 3 arms to flip Gruk over in an impressive martial arts move. "I took Earth classes," Zork said with a wink. As Gruk was led away by his own former followers, Sarah and Zork got to work repairing the damaged Harmony network equipment. The mission was a success, but it taught everyone an important lesson. Peace wasn't something you could force with technology alone. It needed understanding, communication, and sometimes a bit of adventure. As Sarah and Zork flew back to Earth, they knew their work was just beginning. But with the galaxy united, they were ready for whatever challenges the universe had in store. A year had passed since the Zorban incident. Earth was now a respected member of the Galactic Council, and the Harmony Network kept peace across the stars. But a new challenge was about to test the limits of this galactic harmony. On a routine exploration mission, a human-alien joint crew discovered something extraordinary: a massive, ancient space station hidden in a distant nebula. It was bigger than a planet and shaped like a giant DNA strand. Captain Li Chen, daughter of General Chen, led the mission. "This is incredible," she said, her eyes wide with wonder. "It looks older than any civilization we know." As they docked with the station, Li's alien co-captain, a tall, willowy being named Synth, looked worried. "I sense something strange," Synth said. "Be careful." The team entered the station. Inside, they found vast halls filled with strange machines and glowing crystals. Holographic displays flickered to life as they passed, showing stars and galaxies. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, monitoring from Earth, gasped as data streamed in. "This station," she said to President Okoi, "it's not just old. It's from before the Big Bang." Suddenly, the station hummed to life. A booming voice echoed through the halls. "Seed species DTCTE, initiating harvest protocol." Panic erupted on the station and back on Earth. "Get them out of there," President Okoi shouted. But it was too late. A blinding light engulfed the station. When it faded, Captain Chen and her team were gone. In their place stood shimmering, energy-like versions of themselves. The voice spoke again. "Congratulations. UAAVREACEVE next STAG of Evolution. Prepare your worlds." Back on Earth, chaos reigned. The transformed crew appeared in major cities around the world and on alien planets across the galaxy. They seemed to teleport at will, passing through solid objects. "We have ascended," Captain Chen's glowing form announced in New York. All species must join us or be left behind. Some people were excited by this evolution. Others were terrified. Riots broke out in cities across Earth and other worlds. The Harmony Network struggled to cope with the fear and confusion. In an emergency Galactic Council meeting, heated debates erupted. Some wanted to embrace this evolution. Others wanted to fight it. Sarah, now Earth's senior ambassador, called for calm. "We need to understand this before we decide," she said. "This isn't a threat we can fight with weapons or change with the Harmony Wave." Zork agreed. "We need to send a team back to that station to learn more and maybe reverse this." A plan was formed. Sarah, Zork, and Dr. Tanaka would lead a mission back to the ancient station. They needed to find a way to communicate with whatever intelligence controlled it. As they prepared to leave, a group of the transformed beings appeared. "We cannot allow this," they said in unison. "Evolution must proceed." Dr. Tanaka stepped forward bravely. "Please," she said to the glowing form of Captain Chen. "Lee, if you're still in there, help us understand. This change should be a choice, not forced on everyone." For a moment, the glow in Lee's eyes flickered. She struggled to speak. Then suddenly, "Go. Quickly. We can't hold back the programming for long." The team raced to their ship. As they blasted off, they saw energy beings appearing all over the launch site. The journey back to the station was tense. Sarah looked out at the stars. "I never thought we'd face something like this," she said. "It's not an enemy we can fight or make peace with. It's the very nature of life itself." Zork nodded, his star-shaped head glowing softly. "Perhaps that's the final test for any species," he said. "Not just making peace with others, but choosing our own destiny." As the ancient station came into view, Dr. Tanaka clutched her newest invention, a device she hoped could communicate with the station's eye. "Whatever happens," she said, "we're making history." Sarah took a deep breath. "For Earth, for every world in the galaxy, we have to succeed," she said. "The future of all life is in our hands." They docked with the station, ready to face whatever awaited them inside. The fate of biological life in the universe hung in the balance. The greatest adventure and challenge in galactic history was about to begin. Sarah, Zork, and Dr. Tanaka stepped into the ancient space station. The air hummed with energy, and strange lights pulsed along the walls. They walked carefully, aware that the fate of all biological life rested on their shoulders. "Look there!" Zork pointed with all three arms. A giant crystal floated in the center of a vast chamber. Inside, they could see swirling galaxies and stars. Dr. Tanaka checked her devices. "That crystal, it's like a universe in miniature," she said, her voice filled with awe. Suddenly, the booming voice returned. "We el seo a mi ce species. UAVRESHEVAEFINALTEST." A hologram appeared, a being of pure light, shaped like a DNA strand. "I am the curator," it said. "Created by those you might call the ancients. They seeded the universe with life, hoping one day their children would return home." Sarah stepped forward bravely. "We don't want to evolve forcefully," she said. "Our diversity, our physical forms, they're precious to us." The curator's light flickered. "But why cling to your limited forms? As energy beings, you could explore the cosmos freely, live forever." Zork spoke up. "Living forever isn't everything," he said. "It's the journey, the growth, the connections we make that give life meaning." Dr. Tanaka nodded. "And our physical bodies aren't limits. They're what make us unique. Every species, every individual, has something special to offer." The curator was silent for a moment. Then it said, "In all my eons, no species has refused ascension. You value your current forms that much." "We do," Sarah said firmly. "And we believe in choice. Some might want to evolve, others might not. But it should be a personal decision, not a forced one." Suddenly, the transformed Captain Chen and other energy beings appeared in the chamber. "Please," Chen's voice echoed, sounding more like herself. "Listen to them. We were wrong to try and force this on everyone." The curator's light pulsed rapidly, as if it was thinking hard. Perhaps I have been mistaken all this time. The ancients valued diversity, yet I sought to make all life uniform. Dr. Tanaka stepped forward, holding out her communication device. "Let us show you our worlds, our cultures. Let the ancients' children show you what we've become." As the device activated, holographic images filled the chamber. Scenes from Earth and 1,000 alien worlds played out. People laughing, creating art, helping each other, exploring and learning. The curator's light grew brighter. "Extraordinary," it said. "Such beauty in your differences, such potential." With a wave of its energy form, the curator reversed the transformation. Captain Chen and the others returned to their physical forms, looking relieved and a bit dizzy. "I have made a decision," the curator announced. "The gift of ascension will remain available to any individual who seeks it, but it will not be forced upon anyone. And this station will now be open to all species to learn and grow." Cheers erupted both in the chamber and across the galaxy, where everyone had been watching the events unfold. As they prepared to leave, Sarah turned to the curator. "Thank you for listening," she said. "This is the start of a new era for all of us." The curator's light twinkled. "No, thank you. You have taught me that true evolution isn't just about changing forms. It's about growing in wisdom and understanding." Months later, the ancient station had become a center of learning for the galaxy. Species from all over came to study, share knowledge, and occasionally, to choose ascension. On Earth, Sarah stood with Zork, Dr. Tanaka, and representatives from hundreds of worlds. They watched as a new Galactic Council building was unveiled, shaped like a DNA strand intertwined with a web of stars, symbolizing the connection between all life. "You know," Sarah said, smiling at her friends, "when we first stood up to the old Galactic Council, I never imagined it would lead to this." Zork's star-shaped head glowed happily. "Just goes to show, standing up for what's right can change the universe." Dr. Tanaka nodded. "And the best part is, our adventure is really just beginning." As the sun set on this new age of galactic cooperation, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. The universe was vast and full of wonders. And now, thanks to the bravery and wisdom of those who stood up for diversity and choice, every species was free to explore it in their own unique way. The era that had begun with Earth's fierce retaliation had led to something greater than anyone could have imagined. A galaxy united not by force or fear, but by understanding, respect, and the endless possibilities of life in all its forms.